blood.
Players, you always get that tension that rise. I'm sure with coaches too, but it's like you just feel that we're about to join practice. Like, is there a fight gonna break out?
Yeah, I feel like coaches are always like the general, like watching the war go down. They feel good about their strategy. Hopefully, their men just produce.
Yeah, you're like don't fight, but you also muster up enough to be like, don't get fucking bullied.
You got to go to the line.
You got to go to the
line.
That's the phrase.
If you don't go to the line, you get your ass kicked.
Go over the line, though.
Then everybody's pissed about it. And then if you go over the line, then you're pissed about it because that's not why we're here. So I don't know. We were staying behind the line a little bit maybe at the beginning today. Then we got up to the line, and then we crossed it a little bit, and then we got it back behind the line. So,
is it kind of like you go up and maybe like nudge Max, like, hey, get over the line a little bit?
No, I don't have to nudge Max at all. If I have to do anything, I have to pull Max behind the line again. So he kind of starts practice over the line, and then you just kind of try to see if you can rear him in.
Yeah, I've been hearing that he's like an assassin out there. I'm tight with Amir Abdullah, and he's like, bro, Max is like the hardest worker I've ever been around. You talk about Max a little bit?
Yeah, he's rare. This is 23 years for me, so I've had a handful of guys that are like this, but not many. Where just every single day he can muster up the urgency, the energy, the desire, the effort, the competitive nature, just every single rep, every single day. Like, you never have to worry if his car's in the parking lot at 5:30 because it's already there in the morning. And he does everything possible to help himself be the best player he can be, to help our team. And he's also learning, I think this is really a cool phase for him. He's learning how to also transfer that to others, and it's one thing to be able to do it on your own. It's another thing to try to infect the rest of your teammates with it and then get as many of those guys to do that as you can. So we're seeing that right in front of our eyes. He's developing into that kind of a leader, and he's an incredible person, and he's a really good football player.
He's definitely a guy you want on your team.
100%. Every single day.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to worry about his level. You know what I mean? And really what he's trying to do is get everybody to try to play up to that every day. And that's only a good thing.
Yeah.
Out of Eastern Michigan.
I know.
Like, so fucking random.
And he was kind of scrawny when he came out, and he just the toughness. It's hard to measure toughness.
Yeah.
You got the combine, and you can say his height and his weight and his 40 and all that, but relative to his effort, his toughness, his motor, his love for football and all that, I mean, it's impossible to measure all that.
What about playing sound defense? Does he play a lot of that?
He does now. But that's a great question, because, when you have a guy like that, you build your defense around people like that. And so to try to take him and say, hey, just do this and don't be as good as you could be because it fits something on the whiteboard, I don't really know what's the point of that.
Yeah.
When you have a guy like, it's like saying, hey, Randy Moss, here's what I want you to do. I want you to run some curls and some short routes, because that's what we do.
Right.
Well, when you have Randy, you go deep and you draw different routes that are different for him, and then you build the rest of the offense around him. I'd say the same thing about Max with defense is, okay, in order for him to be as great as he can be, which would help our team, then we got to build the rest of it around him. So, hey, if we want to give him a little freedom to go inside or outside, that's fine, as long as the rest of them know about it.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do as we go into our second year here. We know him a lot more. Now we know who we have around him. Build it around that, and just, we'll see how it all turns out.
Max, don't hear this and think you can just go fucking rogue.
No, that's exactly what he does, though.
No. We've built it such that he has some freedom, which he should. Like I said, if he doesn't have freedom, I'm caging an animal that doesn't need to be caged. You know what I mean? And just let's let him go ahead and do his thing. Sometimes he has to be disciplined in that regard, and other times he can do himself.
Imagine being Max watching this right now. Just
that's why I had to say that. Then he stopped me again.
Really good. Max is really good. And the guy that he reminds me of, the way you talk about it, is JJ Watt. Because JJ was a dude that
same thing
never played sound defense. If you were to put up a chart and be like, you have the C gap in this situation, he's not going to have
maybe a couple times. I'm sure a few times.
Well, that's why you'd also see he'd have like 50 TFLs in a
no
year.
doubt. No doubt.
But
swimming
also teams would break, like the Patriots, who played super sound. They'd break that 60-yard touchdown because he would take the B gap when he should have the C gap.
Yeah.
And that linebacker wasn't covering the
I understand that. And I think, again, as long as he's doing it within the scope of the defense, again, that's the responsibility of the staff around him and all the rest of it. But like there wasn't too many guys that I disliked playing more against than JJ Watt.
No question.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, he might not have been doing what he was supposed to do, but he was still a pain in the ass.
Disruptor.
And same thing with Aaron Donald. It's like, I think they're both disciplined, enough, and that they're so talented that they just, they want to go behind the block and make the tackle. They want to go ahead and rip through it. They want to go ahead and call the game on second down when it wasn't called in the, you know what I mean? Like they just do things and they have a different ability to do it.
When you had did you have anything to continue? Go ahead.
I was going to add to that, like predictability, being an offense, looking at a defense is when it's predictable, it's the greatest thing in the world. When you have a guy that's going to play the C gap the whole time, you can run fit him exactly how you want to. You can do play actions exactly how you want to. There's not a better feeling in the world.
Agreed.
But when you get guys like Max, guys like TJ, guys like JJ, Aaron Donald, there is a level of anxiety that goes through your body as an offensive lineman.
I'm sure.
Where you're like, fuck, man, these guys, I can't run off the ball the way I want to. I can't.
You play less. You're a little hesitant. It's
a level of chess you now have to get into other than just, hey, we got to make sure whoever's got better technique is going to win.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what fastball is he throwing? Do I need to do something different this time?
Yep.
And you get in this like dance with this individual.
And that's where the scheming part of it, once you get to the regular season, I would say has some element of it factors into the equation. Because like with JJ, I used to hate running away from JJ. Because you run away from him, it didn't matter if he if he beat the tackle across his face or went behind the tackle and then ran it down from behind. It just was it was an impossibility to get him blocked.
Yeah.
And so then schematically you go at him, and it's like, so all our runs this week in this category are all right. We're not going left on those because we can't make them work. You know what I mean? So I think that's where the coach has to help sometimes in terms of how do we avoid this being a big problem? I mean, we deal with it every day in practice. It's a pain in the ass. Like, Patrick, which plays is Max in for? Okay, 1 through 6. All right, so we got a screen. We have a draw. You know what I mean? It's like we can't just, hey, run inside zone at him and go, why didn't it work?
Yeah, get the Y to go ahead and block it.
That's right.
Hold him off just enough to make it through.
You got it. It's not a good thing.
Just get in the way a little.
I don't like to do that a lot in training camp, but for those guys, Richard Seymour was another guy that when we practiced against him was like, if you don't take that into account, your practice is going to be a mess.
Yeah. And
so you actually are quote unquote game planning your own practice against your own defense, which you don't really love to do. You just want to test your rules and shit like that. But these guys require you to do such. So
it's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem if you're the coach.
Yeah. And the guy on the other side too, Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
Word on the street is my man's looking lean, looking ready, looking speedy.
Yeah. And we just got Tyree out there too today. So we're trying to add that depth there. Chan has been such a great leader for us and, was really productive in the running game last year and did a good job, with what we did. And we're trying to look for all those guys to kind of help us do a little bit more in the pass rush. And I'm excited about the group right now as it stands.